Hi, I'm Geoff Tackney.
I'm Jen Tackney.
And we're Team
Tackney. Today we're going to do kind of a little bit of a podcast style fireside chat.
Oh, this should be fun.
Yeah, kind of talk about our week, what's been happening in real estate, in our office, the things we've been doing. Today, of course, is YouTube video day where we just got done doing our market updates, and we do listing videos on all of our listings.
Yeah.
So those you'll find on our channel as well. Behind us, normally the board is clear. Why didn't you want it clear today?
Well, you can show all the listings and escrows and everything that's going on. I mean, it's busy. It's a busy time of year, and it's getting busier. And someone's breaking into a car outside. I don't know if you can hear that or not. But
He's very easily distracted. My head spins.
I know. I like to know what's going on everywhere.
Okay. We have to start over. Can you hear it? It's done now.
Okay.
Sometimes when people are just trying to get into their car, the alarms go off.
I'm from
You
Long
know when
Beach,
my-
girl. It's getting broken into.
You know, when my mom leaves our house, sometimes we hear that. She's just disheveled out front of the car trying to get in, and it's beeping and like flashing its lights, and
She's falling
sometimes
down.
she's
It's
got a
just-
dog with her.
It's a mess. Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
So you just want to let's talk about what's going on with the listings. So tomorrow we have 3 open houses, one in La Mirada on San Ardo, one in Seal Beach at 4848 Elder, and one in West Garden Grove at 12592 Tunstall.
Yep.
What did we put into escrow today? What are we looking to put into escrow today?
12552 Fieldstone, a condo.
Number 101.
Number 101. And 12.
I don't really think that it's
I don't know the
necessary. The
number.
address, we can just say the street name. So we're working on Emerald as well and West Garden Grove, putting that into escrow. I don't know, when I was thinking of the fireside chat, what would be entertaining to talk about, I was thinking maybe some real estate stories, some things. Like I had a conversation with a realtor who buys investment properties, buys distressed properties and flips them. And that realtor was a little bit kind of shocked that we don't just sell the properties off market to investors. Why, Geoff? Why don't we just, if somebody comes to us with a distressed house full of trash that they're devastated about because maybe, a family member had left it that way, or who knows, what happened, why do we not just sell it to an investor completely as is?
Because in our experience, on both sides of the table, as far as listing properties and back when we flipped properties, buying properties that way, the seller ultimately, when that takes place, most of the time leaves money on the table. And sometimes they don't care if they leave money on the table. They just want the property, their hands washed of it. But, the vast majority of the time that we see, if they leave money on the table when they do that, and it's our fiduciary duty, and we take it very seriously to get them the most possible money for the home. So when you sell it off market, as a seller, oftentimes you leave cash on the table.
And unfortunately, I think a lot of sellers don't know what the value of their home is. So, there was one right now that's a flip that the family sold it for $830,000. Well, they just wanted to be done with it, full of stuff, the whole thing. Well, they sold it to what's called a wholesaler. So what the wholesaler did is took it at $830, bought it, and while he was in escrow, he called around to a ton of different investors and sold it for $925,000. So he made $100,000 just by knowing its value, because that poor homeowner didn't. So that's why, when you've inherited something, and a lot of times these people might be from a different state. So $830,000 is a life changer. That's a ton of money no matter what state you're in. But are you potentially leaving money on the table where that $830 could be $925? And even then, it was sold to an investor who flipped it and now has it for 1.3. So lots of room there. So our job is always, as licensed fiduciary, to get our sellers the most money. And we had another situation in a different city that's our listing that she was offered $870 for the house from a neighbor across the street. And then just by talking to them, no realtors involved, got them up to $920. She met with us and we said, why don't we try $998 and see what the market will bear? 17 offers later, $1.1 million, we found out what the market will bear. So she on her own was originally offered $870, went with her gut and thought, I'm going to talk to my friend the realtor and see if I could potentially get more. So Mathlete, what's the difference? 1.1, 870. I kind of
It's
know.
almost of $250,000 is basically what it is.
Yeah.
It would have been left on the table.
Yeah. So it's just important to us, and we do that. For the house that we just had that had a lot of trash, it had $340 worth of trash. We hire someone to take that out, take out the carpet, show the original hardwood floors. Even though they haven't been refinished, it shows a lot of potential to the investors. And so then we get multiple offers and bid people up. So, it's just important to make sure that if you're curious about your home's value, it doesn't hurt to reach out to a realtor and just hopefully they won't constantly harass you, but we all have that block button on our phone, right? If they do, so you can just block them after, but at least find out what your home is worth and don't sell it for less than it's worth.
Yep.
All right. Good. That's good on the Fireside Chat.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, and we can break it into 2 videos or whatnot. I do want to touch on something that took place with a client of ours this week.
Oh yeah.
Property. He was put on title by his mother, and so he and his mom were both on title, and the vesting was done by the lender at the time that they secured a loan, and the vesting was not correct. They actually didn't have a vesting. It was never really vested, and so long story long.
So he's totally speaking realtor, which most people aren't going to understand it. So I just want to kind of break it down. So when you buy a property, what happens is in California, you have a separate escrow company and you have a separate title company. And how we own our property on title is we actually have it vested in a trust that outlines if we were both to die tomorrow, get hit by a bus. We're not asking for that.
No, we're not trying to manifest that.
Then it outlines for our children where, it's kind of like a will. So, but it's a will and trust, so that's how it's vested. Now, if you don't have that, it would be, if Geoff and Jen were just married, joint tenants. So you always have to kind of identify how you're vesting title.
If it was just me, it'd be a man sole and separate property.
Single man.
Single man.
And before we had a trust, we were vested as husband and wife, community property, joint right of survivorship. So there's all these different ways to vest. Now, our client was getting a mortgage loan and they had an attorney do it. The attorney was from a different state. So the attorney did not add joint tenants or anything after each person's name. It was blank. So what does it default to in California?
Joint tenants.
You wish. If it
that's
defaulted to joint tenants, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I just wanted everyone to know that I'm always right because I'm your wife.
Yes, dude.
So that's what I wanted. So it defaults to what, Geoff?
Oh, God. Tenants in common? No.
Yeah!
Tenants
you
in
have
common?
to be so sure of yourself.
Tenants in common.
You got
That's
it.
what it defaulted to.
got
And
it.
because of that, it has to go through probate.
Because with tenants in common, you however you have to get that person off title. It's not with joint tenants. And there are situations with joint tenants where the property value could reassess as well. There's just kind of a lot of stuff that, as an everyday person working in your own job with your own family, you don't have the knowledge of this, but we do. And if we don't, we'll give you to our title person who does, right? So if you have any questions about how you're vested, just reach out to us.
And that's the point. Yeah. if you have any questions whatsoever, if you just want to double check, hey, is my property vested correctly, or am I protected? So if something happens to my wife and I, will our children get the property without having to go through the whole mess of probate? If you have any of those questions, give us a call. We'd love to be of service, love to at least take a look. And like Jen said, if we don't have the answer, we'll definitely know who can get you the answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to tell another story. So
Ooh,
today,
more story time. Yay!
Today I was driving our son to school, and I look over. We were a little late, so I wasn't driving as slow as I should have been, because I might have actually attempted to get a little snapshot, picture, or video of what I saw.
Oh boy, this ought to be good.
What I saw was a complete Ghostbusters car. Like a full-on,
like
not even, but not a Cadillac, just like a random kind of, like a mini SUV. So maybe just like a little small station wagon, but it had the full like tube thing on the top, right? And she was wearing the coveralls. She was literally wearing the Ghostbusters coveralls. It is February. Like, I just was thinking, I hope she's going to an elementary school. So I don't know why, talking about, she's very committed to Ghostbusters, right? So somehow we ended up, McCabe and I talking about real estate, and he was like, oh, what if you went into a house like that to sell? And it was all Ghostbusters. What do you say? And I say, I love Ghostbusters. Like the Marshmallow Man guy, like the Dan Aykroyd, State Muff. Yeah, I love it. But unfortunately, it's so specific that it doesn't appeal to the masses. So, and we don't want anything to happen to it. We don't want anyone to steal the Ghostbusters stuff, like during an open house or showings or anything. So what we want to do is just pack that up. And we have a storage unit of very generic things from Home Goods, which I was at 9:15 last night. It closes at 9:30, but I got like 3 canvases and some curtains for a house we're selling. So we want to really depersonalize the home and have it appeal to the masses. Now, what if, McCabe said, your seller says, I don't want to sell to anybody unless they love Ghostbusters?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah. So what do you think I said?
God, I don't know. Is there a protected class for people that love Ghostbusters?
So
Can't discriminate.
Can't discriminate. That is what I explained to him. I said, you can't only sell to someone as long the fair housing lending law, so which is the seller's choice if they want to discriminate or not. How we advise them is fair housing lending. There are 29 protected classes in the state of California. Yep. And somebody who loves Ghostbusters falls under one of those 29 protected classes as any arbitrary characteristic, as well as somebody who hates Ghostbusters would fall under any arbitrary characteristic. So you cannot discriminate against a home buyer whether they love Ghostbusters or they hate Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And that goes into the personal letters. That is why when we are representing sellers, we say on our listings, please do not send a personal letter, because it will not be submitted to our seller, because we do not allow for our sellers, it is again their choice. There's a box they can check on their listing if they want to accept the letters, but then they're acknowledging they're going against our broker's advice that do not discriminate, no personal letters, highest and best offer gets the house every time.
The only color we see is green.
That's what we tell our sellers.
Yep.
So, and is that the green ooze from the Ghostbusters? Is that the green you're seeing? The ooze?
I was thinking green like cash dollar bills,
all
but
I can
like
think
how
about,
you tied that in.
All I can think
Nice.
about is
Get
that
slimed.
slime. Oh yeah, it was quite the sight. I should have taken a picture of it.
Well,
I could have submitted it.
I'm glad that you were speeding down the freeway with our child.
It wasn't the freeway.
Oh boy.
It was
It's
a
a
side
surface
street.
street. Oh.
Yeah, I could have submitted it to OC Hoods. I thought about that Instagram. I watch it. It's great, actually.
Well, I'm glad you kept both hands on the wheel and.
I didn't put I had our child with us, and I don't want to text and drive ever, no matter if I'm alone or not.
Good.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that's the week in real estate, right?
Yeah.
Anything
That's
else
our little.
exciting?
No, I think that covers a lot of what's going on with us here at Team Jackney.
So if you've enjoyed this video and you have any questions about it, leave a comment below. Make sure to give us a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, don't say anything. No, I'm just kidding. You can thumbs down it. I mean, whatever. Be true to yourself. Be authentic.
Yep.
Also, you want to reach out to us. We'll have our contact info. You want to see more of our videos, subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
Want to be notified every time they hit. What do they do?
Ding, ding. Little bell in the corner.
He loves to talk about the phone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.